Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Impactful Engineer, where we help you to grow your engineering career. Today I want to talk about having each other's back. And here's my take on it, and here's what I'm talking about. There are certain things, certain activities done in a certain order with certain timing that have a huge effect on how a project will go. And for all of the varying engineering careers out there, we all at some point know what 99% of those things are. And as we move up in the company, we start to feel like we can influence others, especially as we take on direct reports or teams, to do those things in the right order at the right time. What I want to tell you is that you do not have to wait to be in a position of titled leadership to be able to do that. So that's what I mean by having each other's backs. At all levels of the company, at any experience level, we should be looking for the things that we know need to be done and in what order and at what time in order to be successful. And if we identify such a time that someone or a team collectively is not doing these things, or we perceive that they aren't doing these things, and that there might be a risk in not doing these things, that we should be able to speak up. And from my point of view, that's having each other's backs, not micromanaging, not stepping out of our lane, quote unquote, not bothering people or pestering them. If someone speaks up, there's a reason that they're speaking up. And we should be curious about that and dive into it and see if what they're bringing up is valid or reasonable. And we should consider that to be someone who cares enough about what's happening in the organization to actually say something. And now to recalibrate this a little bit, I'm not talking about anything bad or anything extremely red flag or that's going to get someone fired or that is supremely uncomfortable to talk about. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about day-to-day operations and managing the projects, increasing customer satisfaction, removing the friction and the roadblocks and headache from the day-to-day efforts of engineers, accounting staff, project managers that are on our team. We should all be able to share openly with each other when we think that there's a need to do so. And it shouldn't be taken as a criticism or as an insult or as someone overstepping their authority. It should be taken as this is a team effort. And at one end, it should be taken as, hey, thanks for speaking up. I've got it under control. That's a good thought, though. All the way to, you know what, you're right. I wasn't thinking about that. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm going to make sure that gets taken care of right away. We should all be able to talk to each other and bring that information to each other without getting defensive at all. And it takes a great culture to do that. I'm not going to talk about how to build a great culture in this episode. I just want to talk about the fact that having each other's backs means speaking up when we think that something is either missing or that could be done to create a better and increased likelihood that we succeed at whatever our endeavor is. And when you know someone has too much on their plate, because that happens all the time, workload is constantly shifting, and as much as you want to be able to manage it and allocate resources with perfection and execute with perfection, it never is going to happen. So you could have someone that is overloaded, and while they would normally do a certain thing like scheduling things in advance that require advanced scheduling, they're not doing it right now because they've got their eye on a different ball. And in fact, that ball is so huge that they need to focus on that one only for the moment, and rightfully so. But why not be able to see that and then jump in and say, hey, would you like me to do these couple of things? I noticed that, this is going to need to be happening within the next couple of weeks. Do you have this scheduled? I can absolutely do that for you. Or if you've got it, you got it. That's awesome. Just wanted to bring it up, something I saw. I want to make sure that I said something just in case. Like that there to me is being a team player. That's having someone's back. That's helping your peers out. That's helping the people ahead of you out. It's helping the people below you out. And wouldn't you want someone to do that for you in a similar situation? There's not one single person on your entire team or within your entire company that can do everything always at all times under whatever duress they're under. There's not a single person that can do everything and never make a mistake. And there's different levels to this. A mistake is not an end all be all. If this mistake were to happen, the company would be crushed. There's different levels of mistakes. There's different levels of failure. There's different levels of success. There's many things that are happening in parallel at many different levels at all times. And when someone's overloaded on one, it's nice to have someone watching out and can pick another one up and say, hey, we should be doing this too. And if you need me to, I got it. And when you have a great culture, I see that as enhancing the entire company, helping move forward the entirety of your region towards their goals. It amplifies everything. While everyone is so focused on getting done what they need to get done, it's nice to have other people aware of what the steps are, even if it's completely not their department, and to be able to speak up when they perceive something is not going the way it should be, or perhaps not in as best as it could be. Someone in the finance department calling up the engineering team and saying, hey, are you making sure that you schedule these site visits a week in advance and that you're prepped and you have your drawings ready and that you've addressed all of the major issues and critical tasks? That's not what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is an assembled team of MEP engineers under a project manager that fits within a multidisciplinary team with the owner, that if you see something within that sphere, that you say something. So always be looking out to have each other's backs, guys. This takes not being in a silo and paying attention to what all the parts and pieces are of any given project. This is why it's so important to get out of your comfort zone and out of your shell to learn everything that you can about the inner workings of your company from top to bottom. Try to get away from just focusing on what you have in front of you only and start broadening your horizon and understanding of the entire process, at least at a high level. One easy, concrete example of this: at the beginning of a project in the AEC world for design engineers, you need a set of plans. They've got to be set up so that you can implement production of your MEP systems into the model. So if you're 3 weeks into a project and nobody has set up drawings yet, but an individual contributor who just does one certain aspect of the job notices that on working day 4, we still haven't requested drawings be set up, or haven't started setting them up yet, or you haven't heard that anybody's working on setting them up, that person that notices that should contact the project manager or whoever's in charge of scheduling this and getting that done and let them know, hey, have drawings been set up yet? We're going to really need those by working day 8 so that I can start producing and keep the timeline of the project, instead of that individual contributor just saying, that's not my job to request that or set that up, or, oh, that person has it. They have it. They know. They've got it. Should be able to reach out and make that comment and verify that that's happening. It doesn't matter what level they're at. And whoever is in charge of that should be very thankful that they're reaching out and reinforce the fact that, hey, very good that you see that. It shows proactive planning and some foresight. And I really like that about you. Keep that up. I do have this handled. I just didn't copy you on the email. You haven't seen it. This is going to be done on time. You will have it on day 8 and you'll be able to produce. But thanks for checking in. That's really good. So managers and leaders, reinforce this kind of behavior in your team as well. There's nothing wrong with sending a 5-second Teams message or Slack message saying, hey, just checking in, making sure that we've got drawings going. If I need to be a part of that process at all, you just let me know what that is. Have a great day. And then having them text back, yeah, man, it's handled. You'll have it. Cool. Thanks a bunch. That should be a regular communication between teams. And in engineering, I just feel like, well, I've seen a lot of instances where that kind of stuff is like, you don't need to be checking on me. I know to do that, right? This defensiveness. This is like, you don't think I know how to do my job or something like that. That just, even if you feel that way, responding in such a way does nothing to build the team up, does nothing to reinforce and encourage people to step up and say something. Jumping down someone's throat for saying that kind of stuff, for checking up on you, for seeing, what the status is and making sure everything's in line, to just jump onto somebody like that and criticize them for that is only going to hurt the time that when they feel like they should follow up because they've learned a thing or two and they see something that's pretty critical that's not happening. They're going to go, oh, they know it. They must know it. That's what they said last time. So I'm not going to say anything, because if I do, I'm just going to get punished for that. So I'm not going to say anything. And then it was that one time that person actually did happen to forget. And now we've created this scenario where it's not optimal for workload and resource planning. And now we're going to miss a deadline when it could have just been caught early by someone who has their head up paying attention. So I would say another message is that for leaders to reinforce this good behavior and actually actively teach this good behavior. It'll help you in the long run. It'll build team camaraderie, and it'll help you get your projects done with great success.